And Ellen was always just angry.
Who?
Cleghorn. Ellen Cleghorn. She was just mad. And she just didn't really care about small talk or anything like that. So, but she was like, to me, she was the really good kind of...
So you were there for how long?
2 years.
2 years. I was there for 9 years. So everything just got meshed together for me.
Yeah.
You know, I was there with like 50 different cast members, and I can't remember who was what, you know,
When I was there, it was you, Phil Hartman, and it was like when Sandler exploded, like Billy Madison Sandler, Farley, Spade, Schneider, Timmy Meadows, Melanie Hutzel for 1 year, my first year.
Oh, yeah.
Norm,
Sarah Silverman?
Yeah, me, Sarah, Norm, and Attell all got hired at the same time. Me and Attell, Sarah.
What year was that?
93? The 25th anniversary, I think it was. You were doing the news, and you were always like really nice. You were always like the mellow guy. You had an office.
You know why? I gave up.
That's
I gave
the
up.
Thing.
I gave up.
I mean,
surrendered.
You're half joking.
No. I'm full. I'm serious. I remember Phil Hartman said to me once. He said, "You know what? I don't want to be a star. I just want to work." And I thought to him. I thought at the time, "Oh man, he's given up. He's given up that that dream of becoming a big star."
Name above the title on the billboard. On the Kevin Nealon in.
But now I get what he was saying.
Yeah.
You know, you just want to work. You want to work.
I just want to get paid. If I could do that without working,
I
would really have a niche for myself. I'd be the first guy to get paid without working.
The thing that I want to do is get some kind of job. So, we're not out on the road doing stand-up in our 60s and 70s.
It's crazy.
I've said that in my 30s. I said, I'm not going to be doing this in my 40s. I'm not going to be on the road doing stand-up.
That's what the Rolling Stones said, though.
And then in my 40s, I said, I'm not going to do this in my 50s. And I just got back from a Holiday Inn in Atlanta.
I'm 41 years old.
Are you 41?
It says giggles over my shoulder. That's not how I thought life was going to pan out. But
I also thought I was going to be married with 3 kids when I was 24 and have the little picket fence. But instead, I had like a retaining wall, and I was sleeping on a couch
in Diamond Bar
and Downey,
and other towns that begin with the letter D.
Yeah,
Detroit.
It's
too jokey. So Hartman told you.
So he said that. So I think I just kind of. By the end of my run on Saturday Night Live, I mean, I was very grateful to be there. And, I saw people make it and, coming. I just loved having the gig and living in New York and meeting all these cool people that were hosting the show or being, musical acts. But, I didn't give up. I mean, I just knew that it was a marathon. You
surrendered. There's a difference between
I just
giving
sat
up.
back a little bit because for some reason I always knew that things were going to work out one way or another. Like I was married once before. I didn't have a kid. I always wanted a kid. And the marriage kept going on. And I still didn't have a kid, and she didn't want a kid. But for some reason, I knew it would work out to have a kid. And we ended up getting divorced. I met my wife now, and we had a kid.
She's cool, man.
Yeah, she's a good girl.
And you got a kid.
We had a kid.
Look at you. And you got a kid. And you're out on the road. But the thing is, like...
And he came with me to Atlanta, my 4.5-year-old. Brought the nanny, brought the kid.
How'd he do?
He went on the road. He opens for me now.
Yeah, that's what I was guessing.
That's good. I just put him up there. He's 4.5, and I've trained him to sing. They want to send me back to rehab, but I said no. And then I come out, boom, the lights, the music. It's excellent.
Does he put a little cape on you when you're tired? You take a knee. He puts a little cape over. He hands you a towel.
Yeah, he wipes my brow.
You were always super nice when I was on SNL, and when you say you gave up, I know what you mean. It's not like you were like, fuck it, I'm out here.
I gave up thinking that I was going to become a big star.
And change the way it... For me, it was, when I look back, I really thought I was going to change the way the structure of the show operates to fit my needs.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy. Like, why aren't we doing pre-production? Why, if there's filmed pieces, why don't we just do those all summer long? Why are we writing the monologue on Saturday? It's kind of like the most important moment of the show.
Every host was so worried about the monologue.
Wouldn't you have been? If I tell you, come to our show, we're going to do sketches. Before any of the sketches happen, I need you to walk out in front of a live audience and also about 4 million human beings watching on television. It's a historic show. and you're going to do a monologue that we're going to write for you. You're going to show up, we're going to rehearse, and the entire time, I'll cover you, the entire time you're going to be saying, well, where's the monologue? And we keep telling you, it's coming, don't worry. But it's literally Friday night, and you go, tomorrow I have to do this monologue. And that's the part I'm not comfortable with.
I don't know why you wouldn't be comfortable with that, because you weren't doing the monologue.
No, I just knew. It's a fair point.
You weren't hosting the show. But I get why some of these people that come on there, when we were doing the show, we were constantly on, so we were kind of comfortable, But if somebody came to host that show, and this happened occasionally, they weren't used to performing in front of a live audience.
Yeah.
They were maybe a movie actor or something. And I could see how frightening it was for them. And some of them would take themselves out of sketches as it got to air, And
but even what you just said, if you're least comfortable in front of an audience, you know it. Kevin Nealon just identified it. I know it. Lauren must know it. I mean, he's a pretty sharp guy to know that, like, Emma Thompson, like, doing a little stand-up bit in the beginning of the show, that's what she's most uncomfortable. Like, why not have, Monday, after you meet everybody, just run a couple monologues by them so they can pick, or you can manipulate as you go. Like, for me, it was, I wanted to not that I was doing the monologue, but I saw the lunacy of the schedule that I think was based on an old, like, Mayan calendar back in the day when everybody was just doing rails and they were up for a week straight, and they're like, fuck it, we'll just pull it together at the last second. But then it's guys like me and you. And I know you were like an actual guy. I was a guy taking up space, in all fairness. And like Hartman and Sandler, people that like are not doing drugs, going, so we just cram this all in 48 hours. That's how we're going to do it? All right. That never bothered you?
No, it was a difficult schedule. I know it was based on the original cast, and that time in the 70s when people stayed up all night on Tuesday doing coke and writing and then, getting the sketches in. And that was my big Well, it wasn't my beef, but I just didn't stay up late. I couldn't stay up late. I can't stay up late. So I would start writing about 3 p.m. On Tuesday, or even on Monday I'd start writing. Or I'd have a sketch written from like the week before that, I was going to hand in, but I didn't because, after a while I kind of got to know the structure of the show and the politics, and I knew somebody was doing this or that, So I'd save it and wait and hand it another time. My biggest thing was as when Monday, when you'd have the everybody sitting in Lauren's office and pitching ideas to the host.
Yeah.
I had the one sketch that I would always pitch that I would never do.
I know what it is.
What is it? You know it?
I got a sketch where you live on top of one of those runaway truck ramps.
That's it.
Is that the one?
That's it.
Yes. It's in my book.
I never...
Because I wrote in my book that guys like Nealon and guys like Norm became masters of the fake pitch, because I would go, and this is the story of my life too, is I would just blow my shot in front of the host. I wanted to make such a good impression. I got the funniest sketch in the world. This is how it's going to go, and these are the beats, and it'll be great. And then you write it and you put it at read through, and everyone already heard all your jokes when you pitched it, so nobody laughs, and they go, "Oh, this is that thing he was all like excited about. It's pretty pathetic the way he was sweating all over Bob Newhart." And then
Bob Newhart.
You and Norm, it took me until my second year. There's a whole entire chapter called The Fake Pitch. You and Norm were experts at pitching something that didn't exist to pacify the host.
Yeah.
And it took me a year to realize what you were doing. And you would do it very calm, cool, and collected. And the other one was Sandler, if he had no ideas. He knew people were going to put him in every sketch because he was a big star. But he would also like just pick someone randomly in the room and go, "Yeah, I'm also working on the thing Maddie was doing.
So that's it.
We're doing that, and Fred Wolf has that idea. We're going to bang that out. Me and Freddie are going to bang that out. It'll be good. Somebody else talk. I don't know what I'm doing." But Nealon, every time, I remember looking at Bob Newhart and saying, "I got this." It was interesting to me. You would say, "I have this sketch where your house, you live on the top of this runaway truck ramp." And it's every night.
There's a bar at the bottom of a runaway truck ramp.
Yeah.
And it's all about the truckers coming in that just, their brakes failed and they got to have drinks, and...
But you also had someone had a house at the top of that's
Oh, is that right?
They had a house on top of it, and every night, like, a truck just barrels through your living room. It's like,
oh, right.
This again.
Right. But the thing is, if that's the kind of show where you kind of... It's like being in prison for a while. You kind of know what works and how to survive. I got so
10 minutes ago, you go, "Well, you're talking like you were in prison."
I got
and then your first analogy to the show is one about prison.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all right. It's like being a baseball team.
Yours is like a nice prison.
Yeah, mine is a white-collar prison.
White-collar prison.
Yeah.
Martha Stewart.
No,
prison.
I'm just, to avoid getting anally raped on that show, you had to watch yourself. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I had a big problem with Fred Wolf buggering me. Whenever we'd be in the graphics room, he'd pin me down.
I'd
say, look, I'll put you in how much you bench, but ass, grass, or gas, nobody rides for free.
I joined an Islamic gang when I first got on Saturday Night Live, just so I would be protected.
I didn't even know there were Islamic gangs until you just said those words.
Yeah, they are. But I became so complacent on that show that I remember my 9th season, I was actually going out and doing sketches with food in my mouth from the craft service table. I was still like chewing and picking them out of my mouth and doing my lines, I
was holding Valium and Klonopin and Xanax in my hand.
Yeah, you had some anxiety problems. I remember that.
Panic. Big difference.
Panic.
But I want to go back to your fake pitch. Because to me it became fascinating each week to see which host genuinely thought your idea was one that they would like to do. Newhart was one I remember, like, he laughed and he thought it was that's a terrific idea.
I think he did come up to me like later in the week and go, hey, what happened to the runaway truck stop pitch?
Yeah.
The runaway truck thing. I said, I had a family problem at home. I couldn't write it up.
If you need help with the structure,
I thought that that could have been a good idea. Well, but nevertheless, okay. Well, another time maybe.
We could always fall back on the song.
Did you ever see Bob Newhart like on the Dean Martin show?
Yeah, when he made Dean fall on the floor laughing. Right,
yeah,
right?
But a lot of people did that to Dean Martin. He was
Newhart freaked everybody out because he was this new guy with a style nobody had ever
just so
seen,
dry,
completely unique out of nowhere.
Never broke character.
And that show being live, the sketch where he's got to return it. Was it a toupee shop where he has to return it, and Dean just laughs through the whole thing because Bob just keeps going. Oh, my wife.
Yeah.
Is that what you were going to go at when he made Dean laugh? Dean literally hit the deck.
Yeah.
And Dean can't get through the sketch. And he goes, well, what is it you want here, fella? And he goes, well, for starters, I'd like a straight man that doesn't laugh.
Yeah, that's right.
And Dean falls on the ground.
You've got an amazing memory. I just don't remember things. I mean,
But you're old. I mean, you're really old.
That's true. See, you remember that.
How
I was old.
You 51?
I was 52 when I had my kid.
So you're 50.
So I'm 57.
So because 4 plus 2 is 7? How do you... Oh, that's a monthly thing.
It's a month thing. It's in the middle of the year and all that.
Newhart wanted your sketch. Oh, and then Newhart looked over the counter when Dean was on the floor and said, You did work with Jerry, didn't you? But I mean, that's like the balls of steel for a guy like him to go out on the Dean Martin show and like make fun of him. I mean, obviously they were all friendly.
Yeah.
But there's always some producer sticking his nose in it going like, you can't do that. You'll never be back. But he was great. And he was so kind. He wrote us all like little letters and he just liked his scotch at night.
Yeah, and it was like the car. Did you get the car? Oh.
No, I didn't get a car.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Card?
Car.
No.
It was a little model car. Said special thanks. But whatever.
Norm Macdonald had a fake sketch to Newhart that Newhart did not bite on, and Norm now...
He invited me and Norm to go golfing. I remember that just right now.
That's nice.
Because he belonged to Bel Air Country Club. He goes, if you guys want to go golfing, just tell... And I might be out of town, but you just tell him I said, Bob...
Who else did he invite? Because you need a fourth.
Just me and Norm.
There's no way you guys are going to go out as a threesome. You're going to just...
Oh, he would have had somebody
get
show
some
up.
Korean guy from the club.
He would have had...
hitting balls on the range.
He would have had Tom...
Kung Lee, you coming out? Poston? Tom?
Poston, yeah.
Is that who you were really going to say?
Yeah, it was.
I knew it.
You must dwell on things. That's how
you
remember.
At all. Nothing.
Because I can't...
I don't care about anything. Nothing bothers me.
I'm doing an SNL retrospective with Howard Stern next week in Santa Monica, tape thing. And I honestly don't remember a lot. It's been like 20 years ago I was on that show.
Well, you could talk about the fake pitch and say, I was doing Jay Mohr's podcast, Mohr Stories. And
this is what they call Mohr Stories? Mm-hmm. I did William Shatner. I did a William Shatner talk show.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it was called Raw Nerve.
Yeah.
And I did a whole like 2 hours, and they edited it down to like, half hour. And he was asking me these questions that were so weird,
Didn't that bother you?
To get me to cry, I guess.
You murdered your wife?
And then on the way home, I'm thinking, oh, that's right, it's called Raw Nerve. He's trying to ask these questions to get people emotional.
He's good at it.
Yeah, but
I like the show.
Yeah. No, he's really good at it. But I wasn't putting two and two together when I was there. I just thought that's kind of a personal
But
question.
why would William Shatner want Kevin Nealon to like really like strip you down? Like,